the topic of heaven or hell really excites me because when I was growing up, I thought it was like some far off place. Once we're done Earth, we end up in heaven or hell. But as I started to study the biochemistry, we're either in a state of relaxation and peace and calm in our body, a good state of health and vibrancy, or we're in hell where we're tense, we're tight, our energy isn't flowing, and we're dealing with some sort of ailment or disease in the body. So I love that. And I love thinking about that in terms of what the brainwave states are as well. So, like being stuck in this high cortisol, high inflammatory frequency, it would be like hell on earth. It's like the brain can't stop, or it's like a caffeine overload, where it's like a speed racer frequency. That's what I've come to call it. And when we're stuck in this speed racer frequency, we can't shift over into heaven. Like, we don't rest at night. Our cells are going through a biological and I would say spiritual confusion where we end up going to sleep at night, but our processes of the cell, of the body, nothing goes to sleep. It's like then you start waking up and you feel tired in the morning. You're not having that cortisol boost. And this balance of melatonin and cortisol becomes flip flopped. We become resistant to physical light, and inside of us spiritually, we become resistant to positivity or internal light. And this could lead into metabolic confusion. So when I tell people, I'm like, I teach people about light. I don't tell everybody this. Some people I do. Some people I just say I teach biology and physical health. One person I remember, I was like, I teach people about light, and they looked up at the ceiling and they were like, that type of light? And I was like, yes, kinda. But when I say teach people about light, I think of the mitochondria, because the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So we're going to get most of our energy. Mitochondria hold their own DNA. We can actually invest more into mitochondrial function in order to kind of like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Override the nuclear DNA. So let's say like your family has a history of heart attacks. I'll use myself as an example. History of cancer and heart attacks and whatnot. But my family also in our life, we have a history of lots of alcohol and, smoking and all these other risk factors that we know greatly impair the mitochondria. So I was like, I'm going to go engage with my mitochondria. I'm going to strength train. I'm going to go out into the sunlight so that I don't have to be subject to my familial genetic history. And at some point in time, I will be. Of course, we don't live forever on the earth. But for the time being, like, I can slow down my aging process. I can restore my skin health. I can restore my muscle health. And I can feel calm and at peace in my body. So going back to that little speed racer frequency and waking up and feeling tired, it's so much more than waking up and feeling tired. You're waking up in a state of hell. You're waking up and feeling tired, but the body, the blood chemistry is pre-diabetic. So everything that I eat, not only is my hunger hormone turned on even more to get me to crave high caloric foods, things like breads, pastas, candies, ice cream, as my body is starving at the cellular level. Then I go to eat these things, and because I'm insulin resistant, I'm actually just shoving all of that energy into my fat stores instead of actually utilizing that energy. So, and then you start to talk about that's just type 2 diabetes, and then you can go, if we keep going further and further, you're going to develop type 3 and be at risk, higher risk for cancer and cardiovascular disease, all sorts of other energetic diseases of the body. So how do you get out of this high beta wave frequency? How do you get out of it? Well, this is the delta wave sleep state. We do know that like as we age or as we come under the stress response, we don't experience balanced and the proper optimal amounts of this delta wave frequency. What this is at night is the body slows down to the coldest temperature that it's going to be. The heart rate slows down. The respiratory rate slows down. The body goes into a deep, deep meditation. This is a call for the immune system. As we age or we come under stress, we don't experience this delta wave frequency. But what's interesting about this delta wave frequency is it is related to melatonin. Melatonin, like I sound like a broken record, but we build most of our melatonin in the sunlight. Where else do we get melatonin from? We can build it and synthesize it when we exercise. Any type of heat production in the body, anytime you're engaging your mitochondria, you are producing melatonin in the body. It's incredible. Hydrating the body. We're also going to get melatonin from the essential amino acid tryptophan, which is going to break down into serotonin and melatonin. Tryptophan can be found in higher amounts of animal-based protein, as well as a bunch of other molecules that are needed for our cellular health and in particular mitochondrial health, even things like creatine. So I think about heaven or hell, and I think about this delta wave sleep state as being heaven on earth. When we experience this proper amounts of delta wave sleep state, we wake up feeling rested. We have high levels of melatonin at night to knock us out, put us to sleep. We wake up the next morning, we're insulin sensitive. We're sunlight sensitive. We handle the sunlight better, solar energy better. We can use that to our advantage for our spiritual light or maybe spiritual light. Heaven on earth, and we all lose it as we age. So that's why I say protein as we get older. It's so important to get protein. Can't say it enough. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is a lot better than I am in saying that. We also, one of the most important things is that light and darkness, this is our bodies picking up these huge signalings within the cell. So it's so important to experience this darkness, this shutting down of the body, because we know that tumor growths or any type of growth in the body, it needs a constant signal for that growth to happen. Melatonin is one of the largest tumor cell suppressors. So it's so important. When I think about heaven or hell, like I said, I think about this topic all the time. I think about how high our cancer rates are. I think about how high our autoimmune rates are, childhood obesity, genetic disorders, mental health disorders, and it all comes down to light, spiritual light, physical light, our understanding of our light exposure, how important it is to sleep at night. How does our nutrition fit into this? Are you starving at the cellular level? And Dr. Rhonda Patrick, going back to having those pre-diabetic levels and having the hunger hormone stimulated, you can knock that out with a high protein meal. Dr. Rhonda Patrick talks about a high dose of creatine. So for me, like I always talk about it, a lot of ground beef and eggs. When I wake up feeling fatigued or like I have a headache or whatever, I will go have like a lot of protein, animal-based protein, and it knocks my headache out like that. But not only do I feel that, but I know the biochemistry behind that, and that being that it dampens those pre-diabetic levels. When you're giving your cells everything they need, they're not like in a state of chaos and tension. So that would be the importance also of developing a meditation practice, is just setting your phone timer for 2 minutes and deciding to go into the slowest breathing respiratory rate that you possibly can. So you can actually mimic going to sleep. And I used to do this. I used to do experiments with the Oura ring that I had. It kind of doesn't work anymore now. The battery died. But I would go into this deep meditation, and the Oura ring would slow down because it tracks all of your sleep stages. Like it can track light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, based on your respiratory rate, based on your heart rate, and it would pick up that I would be in a light state. I remember I went to an actual meditation one time, and I picked up that I was in a deep sleep, even though like I was there, like I was aware of things going on, but my heart rate had slowed down so much that it was mimicking that sleep state. So you can also do that to help your body get into that restful state at night. And you can build heaven on earth in your biochemistry. That way, you know, we don't all the time think about it, but people always say, oh, I like your energy, I like your vibe. You know, people pick up on your energy. Like, there's a reason why you like certain people and you don't like certain people. Some people feel really safe and open and at peace and really calm. Some people feel really chaotic, like energetically exhausting. And this is the state of their biochemistry. And I think it's so cool how a lot a lot more people are becoming in tune with picking up on energy. You're not just picking up on energy, you're picking up on someone's literal biochemistry. And every time, like, you have a strong influence. Last year, I started getting like panic attacks in large groups of people, like overwhelmed, and like tightening up in my body, and I basically would experience like extreme fatigue, like that. It was like kind of crazy. My body was essentially telling me, or I took it as a message from my higher spirit. I feel like we all have a higher version of ourselves and a lower version, right? The lower version wants to sabotage you, right? It wants you to go into the pantry at 10 p.m. and eat all this food, right? And then there's that higher version of you that's like, okay, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm going to drink water. I'm going to hydrate my body. I'm going to eat these nutrients. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to nourish and love myself. There's a version of you that loves you, and then there's a version of you that like kind of hates you in a way. Anyway, I was becoming like extremely fatigued, and I would just start like profusely sweating. It was basically panic attacks that I was having. And because I was like making myself small in these instances, like I was taking on too much energy around me and not like pushing out and projecting my love and my heart. And I don't know if this makes any sense to you at all, but I tell a lot of people who are sensitive, like, any negativity that you feel isn't yours. Any type of stress that you feel isn't yours. If you really think about it, like, when you're in a room by yourself and there's nobody else, do you feel like so calm and at ease and at peace? And then when you go into this larger group of people, you all of a sudden feel stressed and fatigued. And it's like, I have to practice pushing my energy out and staying like sturdy and strong in who I am. So this is what I've been doing for the last year or two, really within the last year, because I never was having those physical like panic attacks before. But it helps me a lot when I'm well fed and well nourished, when I've had enough animal-based proteins, I've hit all my minerals, my micronutrients, everything. That helps me a lot. And keep going towards the light. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Your body's listening to every single thought that you have. Every single cell is listening to you. And the immune system is like waiting for you to just like give it love. Like, the immune system, they say, like starts, the majority of where we operate is from the thymus gland, right around the heart area. And so, like, sometimes in my meditations, I'll just picture all these little immune soldiers just going around to the tips of my toes, tips of my fingers, cleaning everything up. And they say the mind is very powerful. So you can always do that. Like, think about your body. When you think about your body, it does good things for you. And anyway, I'm going to go, so I feel like I'm rambling. But I do love you so much. And I hope that you choose heaven always, even though a lot of people right now are choosing hell. I hope that you choose heaven. choose to be that light, as not everybody knows that they have a choice, and we always have a choice. Like Viktor Frankl says, a man search for meaning. We always have a choice. Like, he was in a concentration camp and he chose heaven, and that was one of the reasons that he was able to make it out the camp alive, when many people lost their spirits, lost their souls, and succumbed to the heaviness of, what was happening during that time. Just amazing. Man's Search for Meaning, that was the book. But anyway, I'm gonna go. You can like, share, and subscribe if you'd like, but as always, I do wish you the best of luck.